Hey Lee, how's things, man?
Good, good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem.
How's it feel to have new music out 2025?
It's 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 a little surreal, right? It's exciting but stressful at the same time. But for the most part, man, it's exciting, and we're stoked to finally, be in this kind of new era for pop evil. We're definitely excited about that.
What is the new era? What would you class it as?
It's interesting that you say that because the new era for me, everything kind of changed after COVID, for musicians. And,
Yeah,
not to keep bringing up the P word or the pandemic word or to talk about it, but to understand how to move forward, you have to understand how that shook, at least me to the core, right? Because, I mean,
yeah,
everything about the band before that is don't get off the tour. If you get off the bus, you might not come back. And everyone's fear, since we were kids is to not being able to play music. And when that happened, it was like, okay, well, the world didn't stop, right? We kept
yeah,
rolling on, figuring out, we figured it out. But at the same time, when we came back, there was a sense of appreciation. There was or appreciation for those opportunities that are, harder to get. And I think when you're on your eighth album too, and we've been blessed to have some success, but we know at this point in our career, opportunities aren't easy. They're not automatic. So when you do get any opportunities, you want to make the most of them. We want to be responsible enough to each other as brothers in the band to make sure that we're really working towards our best live show possible. That's the goal. I mean, from the beginning,
yeah.
actually, since post pandemic, in the beginning of this new era, it was the conversations that we've had collectively as a team, as band management label. We just want to make sure that we can really do our best to grow the band. And to do that, we knew that there was a metal side that we wanted to get back to. Being a radio band here in the US, and when we started, the heavier you were, it was harder to get played. There was
Yeah.
streaming was in a different position, right? Like it wasn't about like, and you get in where you fit in, right? Like your radio band, you want to get played on the radio. When you're
Yeah.
not, who cares? Just you go underground or you figure out how to grow your fan base. But for us, that was kind of how we got in. So, whether we were steered in different directions at the time, it was just really a different era. No one was really pushing us. I'd lost my father too on the making of the third album. So I was in such a dark place. Moving forward, I wanted to take a more, I wanted to really take more of a positive side. Some more of my alt and inspirational stuff came out with songs like Footsteps as again we started to progress. The aggro and the metal side started to come back again, which songs like Waking Lions there on our fifth album and or self-titled. So, or I think that's our fourth album actually. I get confused now. It's been so many, it just as you progress, you kind of evolve off the stage to be better on it, and obviously the pandemic really changed things, and we really wanted to make sure that we were pushing to be better, but at the same time, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger. A lot of stuff that had to be pinned and held back because when you're in a band, there's no place to fight. There's no place for anxieties, depression. There's no time for it. You have to go to
Yeah.
the next tour, next show, next this, next that. So, and especially being a singer, if I'm in a position where I'm upset and grumpy and taking that on everyone, it's not going to even work. The band will be over. So, I've had to kind of cage that down for many years. And I think the way that as a musician, as a fan of music, the way that you kind of let that stuff out is just heavier up tempo songs. Like I'm
Yeah.
not in any position to write ballads. I'm just not in the mood for it.
Yeah.
So when even if that was, hey, we need to make a song, I made a big album of 10 ballads, I just wouldn't be. I'm just not in that mindset. It's just would be really tough for me to do. So the ballads that are on even on the past three albums, the mid tempo and ballads have been like slowly waning. When you have
Right.
songs like Torn to Pieces and Monster You Made and 155, some of those like powerful ballads that we've had success with in the past. I mean, how many more of those can I play in the set? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's so many of them. It's just, and not that we won't do other ballads, but if we're going to do ballads or slower songs, they need to be very, very powerful and very limited. So again, hence why on this record, especially, it was full speed guns ablazing. It was almost like reminding people that we're still here,
Yeah.
like whether you've heard us or not, like we're coming and we're challenging ourselves to be the best version of pop people. Whether you heard us in the past and I like this old record and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Go listen to it then. But
Yeah.
we're over that. We're a totally different band. We're totally different. I mean, just like you're different next year. You're different now than you are last year. You know what I mean? Like just in life, we don't want to go backwards. Obviously we're very flattered when fans like any of our music, let alone when they like, oh, I like how they were on their second album, third album,
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean? But I think you can't really pay attention to that. Like this is a life journey as well. We're not here just 100% from our, I'd say we're probably 99.9% here for
Yeah.
our fans, obviously, but there's, a small piece of the project that's for us. And that is our journey, and constantly like trying to push ourselves to think out of the box, not release the same song. I mean, if you like a certain song, then listen to it. It's there. You can listen to it. But if we just keep doing the same song over and over and over again, it really loses its luster for the drive and the amount of work that needs to go into just making an album and touring it. So, obviously we can still sound, you can have similarities. Obviously we want to really create a stronger Pop Evil identity because
Yep.
we've been a little bit like, with different genres, we've been a little bit over here, over there. Like we really want to remind people that, hey, we're committed now to being our hard rock metal band. That's what we are, and that's what we're proud of. And we really want to kind of explore this new era and really push that. Now in a streaming world and radio here in the U.S. has still gotten even harder. So let's just push it, man. I mean, all these young bands that are on the come up and climb are all heavy. They're all doing things themselves. They're all saving money and investing into their project, investing in their tours, their live show. It's been interesting to be inspired by the youth in a way, right? For the longest time, you were inspired by your icons, but
Yep.
those idols and those legends, they were in the party era. No
Yeah.
one wants
Yeah.
to party anymore. Like, we don't want to do that. Like, we want to be, if we're going to be away from our family and friends, like, we want to be working to be better than we were last tour, last album. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to sit out there and see how drunk we can get again. Like, no, 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 that's not what we want to be. Healthy. We want to be
Yeah.
better. You know what I mean? And we want to be committed to each other as brothers. Because in a band, I mean, I'm not the first to tell you there can be a lot of issues, and a lot of that is relationship issues. If you're not going to be committed to me, then why the hell am I going to be committed to you? And when there's no sexual relationship involved, well, then it's easy to walk away, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even need nothing from you. Then get the fuck out of here. I don't need your shit. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of ego that comes in, a lot of things that can happen that can really take you away from what people in a group are supposed to be setting forward to do, and that's accomplish some things. So
Yep.
finally, after COVID, people, musicians came and go that wanted to be here. We've never fired or let go. People kind of just their lives change and they evolve and they make the decisions. And there's a repercussion. Obviously, to lose any band member is still like losing a family member.
Yeah.
But for better or worse, sometimes it's got to be a little bit uncomfortable for it to be better. But finally finding this lineup now that's on this album. And I think that's part of our evolution of when we came up, um, it wasn't like we had the success off our first record and everyone made so much money that we could all stay together, right? Like
Yep.
we made no money. So it was easy for people to leave because there's nothing to stay here for.
Yeah.
And in the early days, 20, 30 years ago, people made so much money doing different things, whether they toured or whether they made music, that was really hard to leave. So this era and generation of when we came in to have bands be together from the beginning is just harder to do.
Yeah.
Certainly there's plenty of bands that have made that a success, but for us, for Pop Evil, that's just not been the case. We've had evolution of people coming and going, but at the end of the day, it's always been my band. It's been my thing. And as the writer and as the leader, it's tougher. Like, you want to get with a group of people that understand their role. Just like Michael Jordan, right? There was only one Michael Jordan. There was Scottie Pippen. There was, and every band kind of has that kind of lineage of
Yeah.
that, where the leadership comes from, and that's okay. Like, I'm not going to apologize for founding a band, and sometimes finding the right people that understand their role and stuff can be challenging, and I think that we went through that early. I went through that before Pop Evil even got a record deal.
Yeah.
And as we've grown to finally find these people, and again, I think COVID kind of cleaned up some of that. Like, the musicians that really, really wanted to be here stayed,
Yeah.
and they understood coming back that, like, they knew their role differently. There was no ego the same way that there was maybe before it. It was like, oh my God, like, I just want to play. And again, I'm kind of rambling, but getting into how we got Joey, who was our new bass player, and Blake, our new drummer, they had two other bands that they were in. Egypt Central was one of their bands, and Devour the Day was another one of their bands. So when they came into to my band, I was like, look, I'd really love to have you guys in the band, but I don't know if you guys can juggle three bands. And they said,
Yep.
look, we really want to do what we can. And I said, well, if you can do it and prove it to me, then I'll support both of your bands, because I don't want, by no means do I want you to quit those bands. I want you to work and do music full time and just keep being you. Just when it comes to Pop Evil, it's time to grind. And because, actually, sorry, side note, they brought, those two gentlemen brought Pop Evil on our show, on our first tour with their first band. So we've stayed close through all the years, and when we needed when some other band members had left Pop Evil there during the pandemic, and kind of they stepped in, and we're just gonna, and again, we're kind of just seeing where it goes, right? Like you don't know, you can't predict the
Yeah.
future, you don't know, but we're the language between all of us now in the band is like, let's be a part of something special, man. Like if we stay together, obviously we have a better chance to really do some special stuff if we stay together, the five of us. If not, can we still be successful? Of course, but it's going to be a little bit different, you know what I mean? But having everyone together, this amount of people that have been in the business as long as they have, it's just been exciting, man. The support that we have together, and kind of set the stage for this album.
Now, the key word, like you talk about the pandemic, for me, no matter who I talk about opportunity. So for me, pre-pandemic, you talk about the bands from 30 years ago when
Yep.
there was things called budgets, and opportunity came to them because people came with money. Now you make opportunity. Do you think that's a fair assessment of Pop Evil, that you make your opportunities now?
Yeah, I mean, funny you say, when the pandemic first started, you weren't thinking about opportunity. You were kind of thinking about, woe is me, right? What am I going to do now? Like,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? But you're exactly right. It's kind of like what this album's about, calling it What Remains. Like it's about really looking in the mirror, and like you have a decision. Do you want to be depressed, angry, and take it out on somebody, or put that energy, that negative energy, out in the world? Or you want to try to just, you know, try to accept it, like it's not going to change anything, but I have a choice with my health, my opportunity tomorrow to be better. Like I have a chance to still, you know, I don't have to live in this box. Whether I had success or not in the past doesn't matter. Like it all is about what today and tomorrow are.
Yeah.
So walking positive. So that you're exactly right. Kind of when that this trauma happened with the pandemic, it kind of set the stage with our last three albums, from Versatile, which was the album released, actually we finished it just before the pandemic,
Yeah.
and then Skeletons, our last album, was the album truly written first from the pandemic, and then it kind of spilled into this album, and this album led to this new current lineup that was actually, for the first time in my career, just absolutely 100% supportive of me. Sometimes when you're a singer in a band or you're the owner of the band, it can be, there's always some weird energy somewhere. It's
Yep.
easy to be like, it's really easy to be the guy in the front of the stage that stands in front of everybody, and to think that everyone behind you is flicking you off or uncomfortable, like
Yeah.
laughing at you behind. So when you're standing in front of people and you know that everyone's got your back, it led to me being in a position where I could finally start to have some of the mental health issues that I've been carrying for years I didn't even know about. It finally put me in a position to be actually to write about them. You know what I mean? And for the longest time, I was uncomfortable about it because I was probably uncomfortable in things that were just in my personal life and people around me. But now, once you kind of wash that away, and you really start behind the scenes, really cleaning stuff up and making sure you have the communication that like puts you in a position to win everyone to be understanding, to sometimes even have that discussion to be like, hey, I'm a singer, you're the guitar player, you're the drummer, you're the bass player. Like sometimes
Yep.
just saying that out, like, and people being like, and you just saying you chose that position. You could have been anything you wanted to be, but you chose the position you're in.
Yep.
So don't take it out on me. I won't take it out on you. You
Yep.
know what I mean? And once you kind of have that language amongst brothers, again, all of us have been in the business the same amount of time. We've all had the same trials, tribulations. It's been an up and down road for all five of us. But once we had those discussions and the communication was such where it was safe for all of us to kind of open up, it kind of set the stage, and led us to a position where we could actually start to write about it. We knew that, with this album, if I was going through it, we were going through it, certainly someone else has to be able to relate, someone could understand. But we wanted to share that in the language that is rock and metal, is heavier tones. Obviously, Pop Evil is melody. That is what has always been for me. I'm a melodic singer, so doing it in our way is what makes it us. Whether people love us or hate us, I mean, that's up to them. But
Yep.
trying to stay true to our roots and our past in a way, but at the same time being open to growing, and really putting ourselves in a position to take this band, into the future.
Now, you talk about your mental health, and you're about to go on quite an extensive tour. So, what are you doing personally? And I'm going to use the term selfishly, because you should be selfish with your own mental health, to look after yourself on the road.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I think after it started with the album being done, because obviously to make the record took about a year, a little under a year and a half to do. And as soon as it was done, and most albums are done, I usually micromanage it. I'm trying to listen to mixes. I'm trying to look at the artwork. I'm trying to just do all these other things. And by the time the tour starts, you're exhausted. The last thing I want to do is listen to one of the songs, let alone perform it.
Yeah.
So it was so important to me to just step away from music for a little bit. I mean, eighth albums in, you're never too far away from music. So when you do get a chance to step away, you need to step away. And for me, it was doing no music at all. Obviously now we're closer to tour. Now, once I took 2.5 months probably off from it, and probably took about 6 months now. It's been just from the album itself.
Yeah.
It was refreshing to kind of come back to it now with the release of it, find these songs all over again, remember, oh my gosh, like other than the singles, I hadn't heard any of the songs
Right.
since I officially said they were done. So, and even when I would get in a position, I was like, oh, I really want to hear that one song. I'm like, nope. I'm going to wait till March 21st and then hear it, when I can hear it regular on, on the streaming services and enjoy. So, finding them all over again here the past week. And obviously we just played a show out in New York with the band. So getting to talk about rehearsals and the songs we want to try to rehearse, and then what songs might end up being in the set list. So, it's fun. It's fun again. I mean, we're definitely excited. Obviously, there's new band members. Blake, our drummer, it's his first album with us anyway. So that's exciting. Whenever you get new, like you said, new people around you, it's opportunity, right? It's
Yeah.
excitement. There's future. You're talking about, your wishful thinking, man, in a way, just like our song. It's like you're talking about things that you can do, so it gets you excited. Now we have to start doing those things we say, put those into action, and it starts with this first tour. So a lot of work still to be done, but I've been, to answer your question, I've just been trying to stay away from it, man, and just try to surround myself with family, friends, and find as many kind of things around the house, chores that just take my mind off any music. Because I know once it starts up, it's going to be about 1.5 to 2 years nonstop of this album, and I want to make sure I'm prepared to go the distance for our fans, and to make sure that I'm excited about every process as long as I can be during this album cycle.
Where does Australia fit in for that year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah, we've been talking about it, no doubt about it. I mean, we're seeing the numbers and how it's been growing in Australia. Obviously, we've been once before and we absolutely loved it. Our Pop Evil fans there down under are just incredible, and it's a little bit surreal, right? When you're in a small town in Michigan, and you dreamed about, you know, taking on the world and bringing your band. I mean, you never actually think it's going to happen, right? You never think you're going to get to Australia. I mean, that was a pipe dream for me. I never thought I'd get
Yeah.
anywhere near on a vacation, let alone to play some music. So it's definitely things that we're definitely excited. We had such a good time, like I said, a couple years back when we went before. Obviously, it's got to work financially. That's the big challenge, right? With
Yeah.
any of this stuff, because we don't want to put ourselves in a position to get in debt where it gets harder to come back.
Hmm.
Not only do we want to come your way, we want to bring the Pop Evil show there. You know what I mean? We're constantly trying to put more money into investing into putting our show, making our band bigger here in the US, so we can profit on those tours to be able to afford an opportunity to grow in other countries, of course,
Yeah.
like Australia. So it's important to us in the team, again, since COVID, this new era that we call it, to do things a little more efficiently, to make sure that every move we're doing now makes it easier, and in a way to profit, not just financially, but to profit with the steps that we make moving forward, that we can, do the right things to not put ourselves, in a backward motion to make it harder to get back years from now. Like, we want to make it a regular thing to get to Australia. Obviously as much as we want, but at least every album cycle,
Right.
so we could come do it and do the tour. Obviously, we're watching a lot of our American bands that are friends that are going there and having just awesome success, and of course they talk so highly of it. And I mean, again, it's one of those countries it's a bucket list country to go to. So I mean, it's not, whenever Australia comes up, do you guys want to go back to Australia? It's a unanimous hell yeah, we want to go back to Australia. You tell us when. Actually, it's
Yeah.
so much so that we just were with our managers in New York here last week, and the first thing out of every band member's mouth was like, "Are we going to Australia?" Like, we all see the, like, "Can we go back? When are we going?" And so it's on everyone's radar right now, and we're hoping to get back there sooner than later. But certainly, we want to get there on this album cycle. So hopefully, we can make that happen.
Now the album's a week old in the
Yeah.
world anyway. For you, it's a couple of years old.
Yeah.
Um, what are you seeing come out? What are the feedback and comments that you're seeing so far?
Yeah. The feedback's been through the roof. I mean, it's been incredible. Probably the best feedback we've ever had on any album. So it's a bit humbling, but at the same time, it's only been out a week. So it means, it only means so much, right? But it's something positive. Obviously, it's good feedback. So we want to take that momentum and harness with the energy that it gives us with those awesome comments, and really put on the best show we can in this first tour to start this album cycle off, and really hopefully as songs become uh, more a part about people, as they become more a part of people's lives, right? As they take ownership to this album, it'll be interesting to see, where this album cycle takes us. I just think we're just kind of, again, not overthinking it, just, taking it one day at a time. And when the comments come in and they're great, I think it's a testament of like, it shows we're on the right path of what we've been trying to do. You know what I mean? Wasn't an easy album to make, and it didn't happen overnight. It took a couple albums before it to finally, slowly but surely, get back to that heavier guitar tones, heavier upbeat songs, and really push the melodic aspect of Pop Evil too. I mean, it's been a gradual process, but knowing that people are liking that, it's exciting to know that, like, hey, there's still a lot of room we could have pushed. We just held back a little bit too, because we're like, well, look, we don't want to go too crazy here. People don't like it. Let's push, but let's be realistic too. So I mean, I think that's exciting when you know that you like kind of held back a little bit. So like
Yeah.
we know, I'm excited to get after this next one already. You know what I mean? It'll be a minute for me because I still got a lot of touring ahead, and I like to
Yeah.
separate that. But all positive. We're just trying to, again, not let it go to our heads too much. I mean, it is what it is. There's still plenty of people out there that have never heard the album, or certainly have never heard of Pop Evil. So we got to just go win people over one show at a time, and let the kind of cards fall where they may.
Awesome, man. Now I'm going to let you go. You've got a lot of press ahead of you, but look down the barrel and let Australia know everything they need to know about the album in the future.
Yeah. Australia, Lee here from Pop Evil, and I want you to know how thankful we are for each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being a part of our Pop Evil family. For those of you who are not yet, what are you waiting for? Check us out all over any streaming platform. Just type in Pop Evil, and our brand new album, What Remains, is out now. I want you to check out every single song on that album because we're super proud of sharing it with all of you. Hopefully, we're going to be down under with all of you as well real soon. Until then, peace, love, Pop Evil.
Thanks, man. Have a good day.
You too, man. Talk
See
soon.
ya. Bye.
Yeah, bye now.